How's it going, everyone? It's Harvey from Weather Sponge 5000, and let's take a look at the radar right now. As you can see, we do have several snow showers parked right over the Rocky Mountains, as this storm system is expected to continue to head further eastward, and it's the one we've been talking about over the past several days. It's expected to bring some rainfall right over the Midwest, maybe some snowfall in the western portions of Nebraska, as well as the higher elevations of Colorado. So you need to watch out if you're for snowfall in those areas, and of course throughout the higher elevations of the Rocky Mountains. You need to watch out over the next few days as the storm system continues to head further eastward. But outside of that, it shouldn't bring much snowfall to the eastern portion of the U.S., mainly because there's a big ridge that's bringing much warmer than average that's expected to bring continue to bring much warmer than average temperatures, as it's gonna feel very spring-like. I hope you guys are enjoying it, especially since we could be back in the cold as early as next week. Because right behind this storm system, we've also been talking about the possibility of not only a pretty significant jet stream dip moving through the United States, but also much colder than average temperatures, which I'm going to show you right now. But we do see rain showers and snow showers. Like I said, we do have some scattered thunder showers right over Missouri. Some of these could be severe, so you need to watch out for that tonight throughout northern Missouri. But outside of that, it's rather dry. It's warm throughout the East Coast, so definitely enjoy it for the time being. So now let's look back at what the computer models are currently forecasting at this time. Let's first take a look at the GFS model, and if we were to continue to move forward, this storm system does intensify. There is a decent amount of instability right over the Midwest, and some snow showers, like I said, over the Rocky Mountain ranges, where you could experience anywhere between 6 to 12 inches of snowfall. Some rainfall right over the Mississippi River Valley. I don't expect much rainfall, maybe around an inch or two, so not much to worry about when it comes to flooding. Just worry about that for your evening commute right around the Thursday time frame, because of course it's definitely difficult to drive in the rainfall, even if it's not necessarily very heavy rainfall. And in fact, when you're driving on the roadways, when it's slick, you typically go a little bit faster compared to a dry street, which means that you definitely need to be a little bit more careful and try not to tailgate as much on the roads, because you never know, you could be going a little bit faster than you think during wet conditions like that. But moving forward into the Friday time frame, this rainfall will move into the Ohio Valley, maybe a flash flood threat right over the Mississippi River Valley. This includes Memphis and pretty much extending northward into the convergent boundary between Kentucky, Tennessee, and Missouri. So watch out for that possibility of flash flooding, I'll say, over the morning hours on Friday before it eventually dissipates. But the big question you're probably wondering in this video is whether or not we're going to see a major winter storm in the Northeast, because over the past several days, computer models have been very persistent on that idea. However, as of the latest run from both of the most reliable computer models, they have moved away from that idea of a Northeast snowstorm developing, and it's mainly because this low pressure system doesn't move as far south as anticipated, or at least the jet stream doesn't move as far south as anticipated. And what that means is that there won't be enough instability over the East Coast for a highly convective environment to develop to form a pretty powerful winter storm, as we see that there just isn't enough instability for that to occur. So we mainly just see this storm system be relegated as primarily a lake effect snow event. We do see some light snow showers over the Appalachian Mountain ranges, the interior Northeast, right up along the Great Lakes, but nothing really significant out of this storm system, which may be a bummer for some, because I know some of you guys were hoping for that one last big snowstorm for the Northeast. But it seems like the computer models, at least for now, have shifted away from that idea. Is there that possibility that it could shift back into a scenario where there is a Northeast snowstorm? I will say there's still a possibility. We're still around 5 to 6 days out from this storm system occurring. And as you know, the computer models definitely shift their forecast quite a bit between now and 5 to 6 days from now. However, what makes me believe that this scenario is a little bit more likely regarding the possibility, or at least a lack of a possibility, of northeast snowstorm is the fact that the European model also agrees that this jet stream dip won't dip far south enough to enhance the instability enough for a major snowstorm to develop and to pick up this upper level low that would be centered right over the Four Corners states. So let's take a look back at what the European model is forecasting with this same storm system. So at least for the next 3 days, the European model is pretty much very similar to what the GFS model is forecasting. But with this storm system, we see now it's fairly similar as well when it comes to how far south this jet stream dips, where the jet stream dip doesn't really dip far south enough for a high enough amount of instability to develop for a major winter storm to develop right up along the east coast. So we do see that it's primarily just lake effect snow right over the interior northeast, and the fact that the GFS and the European model are currently showing very similar forecasts, it makes me believe that at least a more likely scenario would be that this will primarily just bring light snow showers over the interior northeast and right up along the Great Lakes, and it's becoming a little less likely we're going to see a major winter storm right up along the northeast coast. I wouldn't rule out that possibility. Like I said, there's still plenty of time for the forecast models to change, but it's seeming a little bit less likely that's going to occur at this time. But I'll certainly keep you guys updated regarding any changes with the computer model's forecast. So continuing to move forward beyond that point, we should see temperatures rebound back, and we could see another big snowstorm for the northern Midwest. You definitely need to watch out for that. By the time we approach Thursday of next week, this would occur right in between March 21st and March 22nd. So definitely watch out right over the Dakotas as well as northern Minnesota. But I want to show you guys the GFS model because it does show something interesting. Even if this possibility of a major winter storm doesn't occur by the time we approach Monday to Tuesday, the snowstorm we've been talking about over the past several days, there could very well be another possibility of a major snowstorm, as I definitely wouldn't rule it out, mainly because beyond by the time we approach a very late portion of March, the GFS model has been very persistent on an idea of another significant jet stream dip moving through the Midwest and the Northeast, where we see the snowfall move quite a bit southward into Colorado, into Kansas, and even as far south as the Southeast by the late March timeframe. So, of course, it is so far out. Take this with a huge grain of salt. But what I could say with more certainty, or at least I'm very certain that we're going to see a pretty significant jet stream dip by the time we approach the late March into early April timeframe, and that of course could enhance the possibility of another snowstorm developing, but just before the spring we really get into the spring-like temperatures. So you definitely need to be aware of that possibility. I'll say after the March 25th timeframe, that's when we'll see that pretty significant jet stream dip take hold of much of the eastern US, and at that point we definitely need to be aware of maybe that possibility of a snowstorm anywhere within the eastern US, because it could happen in the southeast, the Midwest, the northeast, who knows this far out. But what I could say for certain is that a snowstorm is more likely in a scenario like this where temperatures are colder than average, and I do believe at the very least temperatures will be colder than average by the time we approach March and April. What also makes me a bit more confident that temperatures will be much colder than average by the time we approach late March into early April is the fact that we're going to be in a negative North Atlantic oscillation. What that means is that during a negative phase, we see the jet stream dip a lot further southward. We see the westerly winds a lot weaker, which allows the polar vortex to dip a little bit southward into the United States to allow for colder than average temperatures, a little bit more instability, and of course the higher possibility of a major winter storm developing. So definitely pay close attention to the winds to the rest of March, because I don't think winter is going to be over just yet, despite the warmer temperatures we're expected to see this week. But that's it for now, guys, and I thank you guys for watching.